G'day, my name is Joe Pregel. I'm the newly appointed International Business and Strategy Consultant for Kids Eats. Kids Eats is an Australian company that supplies wholesome food for children under 5, and they have been operating in Australia since 2012, and they've been very successful up until COVID has hit. So they're looking to expand into international markets. Hence why they've put me on. They've asked me to screen 2 countries out of possible 4 and determine which will be the best option for Kids Eats. So this report will focus on India and China, lead me to a decision and entry strategy, and my recommendations for Kids Eats. So the screening process between India and China, I looked at GDP, which, as we can see from the top graph, China is substantially higher at around 14 trillion as opposed to about 4 trillion in India. The more fascinating one that I found was the GDP per capita, with China being 10,000 per person as opposed to 2,000 in India, which is testament to the much larger growing middle class in China. Political stability, as we can see from the political stability index, China does favour stronger, which is a little bit surprising, considering that India is a democratic nationalist government as opposed to the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, which is ruled by a president for the last 8 years. Yet, you have a look at what China's done over the last 30, 40 years since they liberalised their markets. They have really grown, obviously, their economy, soon to be the world's largest economy. It's off the back of some sound, yet sometimes we don't agree with those sort of decisions, some sound decisions from China. The next generation, I've put this up, I found this very fascinating, especially in light of recent news that China's lifted their 2-child policy and raised it to 3 children, which really speaks to the top graph, with policymakers understanding that China's population is projected to decline over the next 10 years, and with an aging workforce, a lot of people entering retirement, they need to start producing young people, and this is great news for Kids Eats. India, while still has a substantial population, the second highest, being well over 1 billion as well, and they do have a younger demographic, yet they're not supported by that same strength with their per capita GDP. Their middle class is nowhere near the Chinese. An interesting graph I also found was around the infant and under 5 mortality rate in India, which, as we can see here, has declined substantially over the last 50 years. Still sits at around 50 per 1,000 deaths, which is something that Kids Eats would like to contribute to making better. So with that said, and please read my detailed report. We'll go into more factors that I considered, but those were the 3 main ones that helped me arrive at the decision to choose China as the market for Kids Eats to expand in. Now, the entry strategy, I've decided to go with exporting, and it's a 2-stage process. I believe exporting is a low risk for Kids Eat to test the market, get their feelers out there, gives us an opportunity to appoint a Chinese director that will be able to help us import our products into the country, build those relationships, but then also gives us the lower risk of not having to make such a big capital investment. Also, if markets do change in China, being such a massive country, we can shift our products to different regions of the country with relative ease. With such a large market, our unit cost we expect to go down in Australia by exporting, due to the economies of scale and that ability to drop our unit cost for our products. So yes, the graph I've just put up there is the 4-stage framework for exporting, and it's information that I reviewed prior to making my decision. As I said, it's a 2-stage process, and the second stage I would look for Kids Eats to go into a more foreign direct investment strategy. Once we have established our market, we've built a small reputation, something to build on, we could then take advantage of lower labor costs in China, as well as not being susceptible to tariffs and these sorts of things that can sometimes hinder business. So yeah, summarizing, while India did present some really good factors to consider, ultimately I feel that an exporting strategy into China for Kids Eats to really take advantage of this soon to be growing young population, which we've heard that news last week from China that this is on the agenda. This is something that they're focused on turning around as far as we talk about a declining population, and especially an aging population. I think with this information it will be a success to export our products to China. So thank you, and like I said, for further details please review my detailed report. Thank you.